4:03 at night. Or 4:03 Harbour at night.
Rafferty Harbour, Scotland. Summer. That's a little hotel I'm staying in. Tiny cupboards as rooms.
Take the top layer of grass and so on off, and then they take the peat from underneath, and then they'll put the top layer of grass and so on back on top, because that will again one day look like quite a major job getting out of the ground. Anyway, we've got a couple of locks here. So Skye, considering how big an island it is, it doesn't really have too many major, like huge locks, freshwater locks that is on it. But apparently if you keep your eyes peeled here, you'll see a kelpie. A kelpie.
Yeah, well,
it's still 10 years old, yeah, but it's amazing number of people that think, yeah, I've got 20 years old. When you did the weekly shows, you have a look at that picture. Oh, brilliant, wasn't it? Yeah, he's a Brazilian guy, wasn't he? Brazilian, Chilean was he? Yeah, I remember South America somewhere, and he's got that limitation, you have to come through in Scotland.
So that area over there on the mainland is an area called Wester Ross, and unfortunately it's someplace I've never been. So the furthest northern part of Skye, in fact, is I think the most furthest north I've ever been. I think it's eluded me, but one day soon. So, I was talking about sea eagles before. We'll just stop here coming up.
No ir muy lejos, ¿vale? No muy lejos. Estoy diciendo que este camino no sale.
Skye in their Hebrides, Scotland, full of Japanese and Chinese.
Just up here discussing it, I always seem to get bitten. But they are attracted, we're just talking, they're attracted to carbon dioxide, so they're attracted to your breathing. So the answer to that is don't breathe. But also, I feel like they can operate in winds above like 3 miles per hour. So that's quite good. If it's a real windy, they tend not to be about. But the problem... then New Zealand is the place to go for you. Estimates, I had a New Zealand farmer on, I've got somebody from New Zealand here, estimates of 30 to 40 million sheep. This is the Kerrang, it's called, up to the right, this dramatic rock formation. So again, it's part of the same ridge that the old man of Storr was on. And you can sort of see that in the rock as well, it does look very similar, doesn't it?
Anything.
It'd be hard to mess it up, I think.
Oh, come on.
This thing what we're going over now, cattle grid, so it's just to stop cattle from moving from see there's a jetty over there, so this is the main ferry terminal that feeds the Outer Hebrides. So Skye and Mull, for example, they're part of the Inner Hebrides, and then the next set of islands out is the Outer Hebrides, mostly consisting of Lewis and Harris, which is actually I think on either TripAdvisor or what's the other one, Lonely Planet or something like that. But don't worry, Skye's been #1 in the past. I think this year it's something like #4. So you're doing alright. But anyway, yeah, so that feeds, it goes out to Loch Maddie, so it goes into... differing flavours. So when somebody says they don't like whiskey, I just say to them, well, you haven't found a whiskey that you like yet, because there's whiskey, I love whiskey, but there's whiskies I don't like as well, you know. And anyway, the Isle of Islay is an absolute mecca for whiskey drinking.
Quite a few of them are on our tour bus. Quite a bit dangerous, with no supervision. The fairy glen, as they say. I just got to back. I'll buy you a costume box. 9 times open, 9 times locked. If you gang a like me, but if you gang a like me. I'll buy you a silk and we 9 stripes up and 9 stripes down. If you gang a like me. I'll buy you a nice stringy bell. Take all you've made whene'er you will. If you're going along with me, my dear, if you're going along with me. Which I think is a bit harsh, but on Carlton Hill, so if you're looking at the castle from Princess Street, go to the left, which is the east side,
And up the hillside you'll see an empty building, basically collars and pillars with no building attached to it whatsoever. And that's called Edinburgh's Folly, or the Shame. They call it, they say it's Edinburgh's Shame because the architect who built it, he actually ran out of money. And in the end, he wasn't willing to cough up any more to complete the building, but in fact it wouldn't have cost that much more to build it. So that's why it's called Edinburgh's Shame. But as I say, I think it's a bit harsh because it does look great. There's something quite iconic about it. I can see it from my flat in it as well, which is another good thing. Although I might actually lose that as planning permission for the area in front of my flat, which is a bit annoying. Hollywood Park, which is where Arthur's Seat is actually situated. There's kind of steps there all the way up to the top pretty much, and you can get up and down fairly quickly. However, also a lot of tourists are going there by foot, and they'll arrive via the sort of Parliament building area, and that will take a bit longer right enough to get up and down, probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Lunchtime, second day of the tour. It's jam-packed. Rooney's oil, eh?
So that you can use that one.
More or less, we will drop you off and drop you on the way back. Yeah. It's just about 100 yards back up from
Das ist, So I hope you managed to get some food alright. It's quite good actually. I don't always stop in although I've noticed the last, well I've not noticed, I've done the last 3 weeks I've stopped in Portree. It's quite nice because, well, you come up the Skye and you end up, you don't really actually spend too much time in Portree apart from at night time when all the shops are closed. And I must say I'm genuinely surprised coming back. This is a Wednesday afternoon and it's as busy as Oxford Street there just about, so. But it's quite nice, as I say, to maybe see Portrait. Owner rent to put on their sheep and so on. Anyway, the landowners ended up putting up the rent to such an extent that the crofters were basically left with nothing. So there was a crofters revolt, and I'd say gunboats were in the Bay of Portree. This is about 100 years ago, I think just before the First World War. So the army was called on to quell the peasant revolt, you could say. And gunboats were in the Bay of Portree. So you're right in the middle of the two mountain ranges. Again, can you remember their names, do you think? On the left we've got the red, and on the right we've got the black. Well done, I heard school in there, well done, yeah. And I was talking about how rain, you know, the one drawback of no rain is lack of waterfalls and rivers and so on. Well, this river that we're about to drive by anyway, the River Slayton, during the winter it's a complete whitewash, I promise you. You cannot see any of the rocks or anything at all. And now it's a complete trickle. normally whiskies get named after the village or something that they're made in, or the glen, or the river, the stream that the water comes from, particularly like Speyside whiskies, like your Glenfiddich, Glenmorangie, things like that. But thankfully, they didn't use this village name, I think. Can I have a nip of Carbost, please? It just doesn't have that ring to it, does it? Talisker is a much better name. Talisker, and they've taken the name from the coast, the Atlantic coast, basically it's 7 miles. Thank goodness for that. It just sounds a bit more, I don't know, impressive. This is Loch Hartport down to our right, so this is actually a sea loch again. And on this loch, they farm oysters actually. And there's a wee oyster bar up on the hillside here. Doesn't really do much for me, that kind of stuff, what they said, but it didn't really taste of anything apart from the Bloody Mary oyster sauce. Nothing really more to add about it. I say that I was very ill a few days later. I don't know if that was anything to do with it or not. I don't know.
This is my thing. This area closed on Skye. Never been to this one before.
I'll stand in it as well.